Welcome to In Focus. According to a recent Ipsos poll, 85% of Canadians surveyed say they considered mental health to be as important as physical health. But with the increase in levels of stress and feelings of hopelessness and depression, 41% of Canadians are at high risk for mental illness. Now, that's a significant increase from a report done in 2016. Here to talk to us about mental health is psychotherapist Pamela Young. Pamela, thank you for being here.
You,
you know, when we look at mental health, there's a lot that has gone on and there's a lot that has been done. I know with Let's Talk and also with Tell Us, there's been a lot of outspoken people, celebrities. Could you give us a working definition of mental illness?
Sure. Mental illness is when people are struggling to live life and do life. So it's like an umbrella that oversees like anxiety disorders, mood disorders, personality disorders, struggling with being in touch with reality, or just really being unable to get up and out and live life the way that we were designed to live.
Yeah, you know, when we start thinking about mental illness, who does this really affect?
You know, it affects any walk of life, any ages, children up to seniors. It impacts different demographics. And so it's really hard to pin down. I would say that nobody is really immune to struggling with mental health issues.
Yeah, we're not exempt. You know, there's been 10 myths about mental illness, and it says mental health problems do not affect children or youth or any problems that they are. But in reality, 1 in 5 children are struggling with mental health as well.
Yeah, that is a really huge struggle, and people often don't realize. I'll have people come into my office with their children, and they're not sure why this is happening. They're thinking, you know, children is a time to be carefree and happy and just, you know, engaged with life. And so to see a little one struggling, and it's very hard for children to get help for mental illness issues.
Excuse me. So we're seeing the gambit as far as young and old alike. What are the causes of mental health?
That's a huge question, because there's so many causes. There can be a genetic component, there can be environmental issues. Trauma is often can impact that. So when we look at it, it's almost like there's a switch in the brain. And so someone might have a parent who struggles with mental illness, and you know, there could be that fear, well, it could happen to me, but that's not necessarily the case. It's often something that happens, like trauma, or being in a situation where you don't have the resources to cope with life, where that switch almost gets flipped on, and then mental illness is a result of that.
You know, that's very helpful, because when we look by the age of 40, about 50% of the population will have or had mental illness. And schizophrenia, 1% of Canadians. And you can get all of these statistics on our website. You can tune in and we'll give you all of our, and cite where we get all of our information from. You know, personally, there's been so many people coming out about this. And my own sister, I've been very public about how mental illness, she committed suicide as well, and that was one of the causes that really thrust me into ministry and understanding that there was a deeper cause, so that the stigma would be broken and others could understand it's not unusual. You have a very, I love a clear approach to this. Like our physical health, we need to also look at our mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think it's very important for people to take their mental health as serious as they do their physical health. So it's possible to have poor mental health. And, you know, it's that continuum. And it's opening up and having the conversation and talking about how we're struggling. And I think that as a society, as we talk more about it and share experiences, you know, for each person that's struggling with mental illness, there is a circle of friends and family and people who are also impacted by that mental illness. And so I think that having the conversations is very important to reduce that stigma.
As a psychotherapist, how do we focus and reframe so we could reframe from a knee-jerk reaction of a Christian response to this? Because I remember when this happened in my own life, I said, this is not dysfunction, this is demonic. I mean, my sister was the head of she was #2 in the state in tennis. She had all of the beauty pageant things behind her, all of these different things. And I needed to wrap my mind around it so I could reframe from just jumping off. How do we as Christians begin to now get our hands around this?
Yeah, I think the important thing to emphasize is that God has given us emotions, and to feel sad, to feel anger, to feel even joy is a gift from God, and that's information for us. So, it's that space of where, this is just a blue day. I'm feeling down today, where it becomes this is ongoing concern and needing to reach out and get help. So that's, I think, a really important thing for people.
When you, as a psychotherapist, really begin to dial in, what is the one thing, because I know you said before, we don't live in the extremes, but a lot of people are in the middle there.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where I see people coming into my office. It's that sense of this overwhelming anxiety, and just beginning to talk. Getting professional help is really important place to start.
Yeah. Pamela, I thank you, Dr. Young, for being here with us, and I know we'll talk about this more because we're just opening the door on this conversation, and this by no means is exhausted. But if you want any resources, go to our website at 700club.ca, and you can get all the information that you need. But for now, make sure not only pray, but also reach out and let's talk, and that's your In Focus.